Hi, my queenies, kingies, and royalties, and welcome to the Elle Says podcast. And you are listening to the queen herself, Elle. How is everyone feeling today? How is everyone doing today? Happy Friday. I am feeling very enlightened. Fun week has been very enlightening. And today on Elle Says podcast, today Elle says fun week has not been all that fun. So for starters, I hope everyone is participating in Fun Week and is having a good Fun Week. And I'm going to let you know how my Fun Week has been going. It did start out good. Like, I felt very much in a good, light, positive mood. And then for my first activity that I did on Fun Week was I went to the movies. Now, before the pandemic, I used to go to the movies all the time, okay? But since afterwards, I haven't gone to the movies that much. And also now it's like you don't even have to go to the movies because the movies come out on a bunch of streaming networks and streaming platforms. So it's like you don't even have to go to the movies for certain movies. But I feel like now they're bringing, like, the movies that are coming out now are like in the theater. So you gotta go see them in the theater and they'll come out like later. Either way, I haven't been to the movies in a while. So my thing about the movies is I like to go early. I don't like to go like later in the day. I like to go like early where there's not that much people and you could just chill, relax, and watch your movie. So I went to see Avatar 2. Now, we went to see the movie at 1:50. And we were planning to see it at 1 o'clock. But child, somehow I overslept. And so it was running late. So then by the time we got to movies, though, it was fairly like around the time, like credits are like, not the credits, the previews last for like 10 to 15 minutes. So it was like we had more than enough time to like get there. So when we got into the theater, the movie was already playing. I was like, dang, we that late, So I was like, okay, tell me why we're sitting there watching the movie. And like, it wasn't that long. And as you know, or may not know, Avatar is like 3 hours and something minutes long. So like, I was expected to be there for a long time. We were there for like an hour and a half or almost 2 hours. And then next thing I know, the ending credits is starting to play, the movie over. Child. Let me rewind. For one, when we came into the theater, the screen wasn't even fully open. Like, there's like, the black net was like covering the screen on the sides. So I was like, and first of all, mind you, if I'm in the wrong theater, child, I was at the 11:45 a.m. play of the movie. Apparently, somehow, some way, in saying which auditorium to go to, which is so funny because when you think about it, it's like the movie was playing in that auditorium, so we wouldn't know that it was the wrong one. Plus we were late, so we wouldn't know that, we ain't never seen the movie before. Anywho, because the screen was like messed up and like they were sitting there, like it was only like a little bit of people there. They were sitting there for like the majority of that movie with the screen like that. I was like, I can't do this. I'm OCD. So I got up and told them about it, and then they fixed it. So they gave us a free ticket because of that. But child, we were in the wrong theater the whole time. And when we told them, it was like we were told the wrong theater. I think it was Auditorium 8. We were in like 14. I'm like, so we basically saw the movie from the middle to the end. And it's so crazy because like if you watch the movie, I'm not gonna give no spoilers, but if you watch the movie like that, I really couldn't tell that this wasn't the beginning of the movie when we came in, because it really felt like it based off the last Avatar, if you've seen it. So child, when I think back at it, this story sounds so funny right now. So either way, we got a free ticket to come back to see any movie we like. But it was just a lot. But I enjoyed the movie so much, and it's like I might as well wait now because like everything comes out on Disney Plus anyway. and like see another movie, but I loved it. For what I saw, which was like basically maybe the majority of the movie, and I kind of made everything make sense, even though I didn't have like the backstories to everything. Everything started to make sense to me as I kept watching anyway, just putting two and two together. And so actually I felt like it was like a fun way to watch a movie, because it was like action packed. I was like, wow, this is the beginning. Like, it's so funny you're saying like, oh, the beginning of the movie, like, whoa, like it's a lot happening. So it was too funny. But either way, I enjoyed the movie. And it goes to show that you cannot plan everything. Like, you can make plans and then God knows what can happen. But I still had fun, and that's all that matters. That's the first part of how my fun week was going. And now I'll talk about more of the second half of fun week. So ultimately, I had a good time at the movies, and I was using a gift card anyway, so it was fun. Plus, it was half off. It was value day, so it wasn't that bad. Like, it was good overall. So yeah, but moving on to, that was on a Tuesday. So Wednesday, I'm gonna be completely honest. I did my questions on Wednesday, but it was like earlier in the day, I believe. But either way, I did my questions for Fun Week that I put in there on Wednesday, which was like, because Fun Week started on, so Fun Week started on Monday, and Tuesday I went to the movies. So Wednesday is when I did my questions. So after I did my questions, that's when Fun Week became not so fun, because by doing my questions, I realized a lot of things about myself and how I need to focus more on the positives in my life and spend more time actually doing the things I like and I love, and reminding myself of my values and my beliefs, and like what matters to me the most, like what's my top priorities. So after I did my questions, and I realized that, yeah, it was easier to name more negative things than positive things, or I don't want to say negative, but less positive things than the first 5 questions. So for the first 5 questions, I put 4 answers, and like for the last 5 questions, I had like 8 answers for one, and for like my triggers or things that stress me out. And I realized that I don't want to be a person who has more negatives than positive. Like, I don't want to be a person who looks at the negatives more than I look at the positives, or is quick to look at negatives before the positives. I want to be more of the person that can see the light in the situation and have a better perspective on it, rather than just going to like, nah, this ain't it. I want to be more patient in that way, to really see the good in everything and be more optimistic. Because I know I already am optimistic, but I believe I can be very more like optimistic than I am right now. And like, honestly, when doing the questions, I'm like, oh, this is the purpose for the questions, because if I didn't ask myself those questions, I wouldn't have realized, oh, okay, these are the answers. Okay, this is how I'm thinking. This is how I'm feeling. These are things that matter to me. These are things that used to matter to me. These are things that I want to matter to me more. Like, I'm very interested in seeing how on Monday, like, what are my answers? Again, because you do the questions in the beginning of Fun Week, and then you do it in the end of Fun Week. And also, like, with Fun Week in general, it doesn't have to be the 2nd and 9th. Like, you can pick whatever week works best for you to do Fun Week. Like, you don't have to do it through 2nd and 9th. I picked the one that works best for me, which is like the beginning of the month. And I believe it just makes you, or helps you to start out your month better and be more focused. So how I use my questions is basically, from my answers, I can now kind of create a better schedule that works for me, that's more purpose driven. I think that's what I'm looking for. It's more purpose driven in how I'm spending my days. That's more like what I want my days to look like, instead of just doing whatever. Because a lot of the things that started first with my first 5 questions was like, God is first. So I definitely want to start my days with having that in mind and then carrying him through the day. Like I always say, I don't just want to have God in the beginning of my day. I don't just want to go to God in the end of my day. I want to carry him throughout my whole day. So I know starting my day with God and being intentional about the time I'm spending with him, and then also being intentional about the time I'm spending with myself, will better me in so many ways. And I love spending time with God, and I love spending time with myself. So I know it's like going to be a very positive start to my day. And so I can be more present during my day too. So I'm making sure that I'm a priority in my day, and that God's number one priority in my day, and that I'm just doing what I'm called to do, and I'm staying in purpose, okay? And I'm not just doing whatever just because. Which also leads to the purpose of Fun Week anyway, is to discover yourself more and discover your likes and your dislikes and what matters to you, you know, your priorities, and just truly to embrace like whatever you discovered about yourself, and also to know like what you want to change about yourself. And like because you discovered it and you've embraced it, I believe it'll make it easier to make those changes that you actually want to change and feel better about everything. Because a lot of the times when we're going through our day-to-day lives, like stresses will come up and you'll feel like, why do I constantly have to deal with things that are not for me? Or why do I have to constantly deal with things that I actually don't really want to do? And like I feel like for me, like Fun Week has showed things that I need to start prioritizing the things I actually want to do, and so I can better deal with like the day-to-day stresses. Like if I'm more focused on what God is calling me to focus on, I'll be less moved by any issues or problems or stresses that come up in my day, because I already started with God and I've already been prepared for whatever is going to come my way. And because I'm looking at it differently, and I'm not going to look at stuff with such a negative perspective, because I'm looking at it differently, I can be able to deal with it better. And I want to be more focused on the things that are for me instead of the things that may not be, and that are not helping, and that are not serving. So they must go. And being that fun is actually like the fun in Fun Week is actually an acronym for like faith, unity, and notoriety. I feel like the notoriety part is what got me, because I'm like working on all the things that are just not serving me anymore. Any traits that I'm just not with, like it just doesn't work. For whatever season that God is calling me to, I feel like the old things really have to pass away, and like I have to embrace the new that God is calling me to in my life. And it just goes to show, like, it's called Fun Week, but sometimes you're not going to have all that fun when you're doing the gleaning process and you're bettering yourself, you know? You discover things about yourself that you want to better those parts of yourself, or that part of yourself doesn't serve you for the season that you're called to. So either way, ultimately in the end, you're going to feel better, so then you're going to start to feel the fun part. The actual fun part, not the acronym, but the actual word fun. You'll start to feel that more once you just bettered yourself and felt more like you're being the person that you want to be, instead of the person that you're just being to get by in your day-to-day life. Like you start to work more towards the person that you actually want to be, instead of the person that you're just being, you know. And stepping out of your comfort zone and making you like the uncomfortability at first can then turn comfortable. Because I know when stepping out on faith, it can be uncomfortable at first. But like, say like with my podcast, it was scary at first, uncomfortable at first. It was like, God, like, I don't know if I can do this. And when I kept doing it, and episode after episode, recording after recording, I started to feel now very much more so comfortable in what God is calling me to do. Sometimes facing your fears is uncomfortable, but when you face them, you'll start to feel more comfortable, because you're being actually the person who you really are, instead of just being a limited version of yourself. You want to be your whole self. You want to be full. You want to be filled. You want to be your best self, the person you always dreamed of being. That's who you want to be. And you know, as being a child of God, like I want to be who God called me to be. So it's like I have to embrace those changes and embrace that gleaning process and embrace that it may not always work out the way I want it to, but it's going to work out in the end in my favor. So I have to be patient in that process to becoming, more and more of who God called me to be, becoming more of like, your best self and like being okay with that process. Which that all kind of leads me to the L quote of the day. Y'all know I've been wanting to start this. I feel like I should do it every Friday because I feel like the last one I think that I did was on a Friday. So every Friday we'll do an L quote of the day. So today's L quote of the day is, how you spend your day is very telling about how you feel about yourself. And what I mean about that is like when you look at your day and you look at what you did in your day and how you spent your day, it should really reflect who you are. What you love to do, what you're called to do, what you have fun doing, what makes you happy, the things you love to do, the things that make you feel filled, hence the questions, the 10 questions. Like the first 5 of those questions are questions of like, what do you like? What do you love? What betters your mental health? What makes you feel filled? Like those questions, I'm asking those questions so you can implement those into your day so that you can have a better day, a more filled day, a day where you feel at the end of the day when you go to sleep just good. You feel great. You feel accomplished. You feel whole. You feel like I can't wait to wake up tomorrow and have an even better day. You're having more gratitude, more hope, more faith. That should be reflected in your day-to-day life. So how you spend your day is very telling about how you feel about yourself. And if you really love yourself, your day should reflect that love you have for yourself, like self-care, self-compassion, self-love. Like it should reflect that in your day. You should feel good every day, ultimately. I know things can happen that is coming out of left field and it's really all about perspective. But I'd hope that each day you have this hope that every day I'm going to have an even better day than the day I had before. So that even when problems arise or situations happen, you really still know like God is with me. I have hope for this. I have faith for this. And I can grow as a person in this and it's going to be okay. Having that mindset, child, like even me saying it, I need that mindset each day. I don't want to have a bad day. Just because you had a bad moment or something happened doesn't mean you have to sum up each day as a bad day. Even if it's like, sometimes we like little disruptions in our day. It's like, oh man, this is the worst day ever. Like I could have took that Tuesday and when I went to the movies and been like, oh, this is the worst day. Like nothing went according to plan. I could have did that. But instead I decided to see the positives about it. That it was actually a fun experience and something I've never experienced before. And I got a free movie ticket. So I can go back and have an even better day the next time. How you think about yourself and how you think about your day, like that's really reflected. How you think about yourself is really reflected in your day. So let's think better about ourselves. And if we already think good things about ourselves, let us think even more good things about ourselves. That we can be more filled. Even when you feel like you're filled, you just know you could be even more filled than that. We're constantly growing and we're constantly getting better and better each day. So let's not limit ourselves to just that present moment of like, okay, it can get better. Like whatever happened, it can get better. If you're lacking, move on. Like there's certain areas in your life where if you're lacking in that area, that doesn't necessarily mean that you just lack overall. Like sometimes we take our little flaws and like, oh, that makes me a bad person, or that makes me irresponsible, or that makes me like not the best person. No, there's always room to grow. We need to start having more grace for ourselves and just stop thinking that just because you feel this way or just because this happened, that makes you, okay, now you're a bad person and you had a bad day. No, we have to change how we label things and understand that each day has enough problems of their own, So we need to be present and have more grace for our mess ups and have more grace for other people's mess ups and be more forgiving of ourselves and be more forgiving of others. But I ain't gonna get into all that because that's a whole nother series coming out. But anyway, let us have more grace for ourselves. Let us live in the present moment and let us make a day, each day, the best day we can possibly have with what we have. And realize that we don't have to focus on the places we lack, but really focus more on the places where we don't, where we're filled and we're good at this. Sometimes I feel like we focus more on the negatives than the positive, and I'm speaking that for myself. I want to focus more on what I'm good at instead of the things I struggle with. Because improving the things I'm good at proves to myself about the things I struggle with that I can get better at that. Because whatever you've done, you weren't the best at it when you started. Like I'm not the best podcaster when I started. I had imposter syndrome. I had to overcome that. But look at now I feel like this is my element. This is what I'm called to do. This is what I'm called to do, and I'm good at it. And I can do this. You have to just constantly keep proving to yourself that this is not the end for me. I can grow. I can get better. And when you do that, you're just going to have a better life and you're going to feel better about yourself. So when I'm saying how you spend your day is very telling about how you feel about yourself, fill your day up with the things you love and what serves you and what fills you up and what gives you purpose. Live a purposeful life. And with all that being said, we are done for today. And I'm excited about how the answers to my questions may change on Monday. And I'm excited about the last part of the Fun Week series. And tell me what you think about this episode. Well, I'm not going to do my outro like this because I'm going to have to edit. So never mind. I'm going to do my outro next. So we're going to wrap this up. So that is all for today. Tell me what you think about this episode on the Q&A section in Spotify, or tweet me or comment in the comment section of the Instagram post I be posting about every episode. On my social media, you can follow me at LQueenLoves. That's LQ. Oh, shoot. That's my outro so difficult. One more time. You can follow me at LQueenLoves. That's LQUEENLUVC. And that is all for today. And I want to thank you all for listening. Tell me what you think about this episode and tell me if you're participating in Fun Week and how it's going for you. And it will be funner going forward. And what do I be saying in my outro? Oh, I hope you all have a great day, a great week, a great year, a great month, a great morning, noon, night, afternoon. And thank you for listening. Once again, this is the Elle Says podcast. You listen to the queen herself, Elle. I love all my queenies, kingies, and royalties, and I will talk to you on the next episode. God bless, sending you much hope, love, and light, and enjoy your fun week. And I hope that you loved this episode, and if you loved it, share, support me. I will love the support. I appreciate the support. And I'm so thankful for all of my lovely listeners. And we reached 50 plays. I mean, come on. Yay. Okay. And I'm so excited for the future of this podcast. And I'm so grateful to all of you, my queenies, kingies, and royalties. And I love you all so much. And I will talk to you on the next episode. See you Monday. Have a great fun week. And I believe that is all I say in the end. I love you all. XO. Mwah.